Hey folks, welcome to another review with yours truly, Sam Healey, right here on the Dice Tower. Today we're going to be taking a look at this little ladder climbing trick-taking game called Panda Spin. I'm all about having some pandas in my game and spinning them around. Let's see where that takes us. Let's get down to the table and take a look, shall we? So as you begin with a game of Panda Spin, you're going to first of all take the number of players and you're going to deal out that many element cards to the players. That's going to help them determine who is going to be the first player. You only deal out a number of element cards equal to the number of players that are there. So in a 4-player game, we're only going to deal out 4 of the 5 element cards, and then whoever has the highest number is going to be the winner. Whichever element isn't dealt out, those cards are going to be taken out of the animal deck, and then all of the 4 elements that were kept, those element cards will be added to the deck, and then we'll be able to start the game. Since the metal element is going to be removed from the game, we're going to use it as a way to explain the different things that are going to be in the card anatomy. Just understanding that there's going to be various differences depending upon the element suit that the cards are part of. But generally speaking, when you have an element like this, there are only a number of elements in the deck equal to the number of players. And this one is specifically the metal element. And it has a condition down at the bottom, which basically means elements are a way for you to easily win a trick, generally speaking, as long as the conditions are met down at the bottom of the card. But the downside to it is that you do have to draw 2 more cards after you play the card. Each suit, basically, dependent upon the element, is going to have these cards in it, basically from 3 all the way to ace, with the Chinese 2 being the absolute highest card in each of the different suits. A little bit more card anatomy here. For example, the 3 here, while it's on the white side, is a 3 value. But if it ever gets spun to its blue side, it's going to have 3 8s on it in just one card. So the 4 has 3 7s, the 5 has 3 6s, and so forth and so on. You'll see that each of the different cards have a different set. You'll also see that some have symbols here, and we'll talk about what those symbols are in just a few moments. But this is basically what each suit within the deck, and there are 5 suits in the entire box, but how many suits you use is dependent by how many players there are in the game. So after you've removed the 1 element card that isn't going to be used in the game in a 4-player game, you're going to use all 5 in a 5-player game. But after you've removed all of those animal cards that match that suit, you're going to shuffle the other element cards into the deck, and then you're going to deal 12 cards out to each player. And that will leave a number of cards equal to 2 times the number of players that are out there after you have that right here. Because as I mentioned earlier, whenever you play one of these element cards, you're going to have to draw 2 cards. So that's what this deck is for. The last thing you're going to do is you're going to flip the Panda token over, and it has 2 different sides. Basically, what side this token is going to be showing determines what you're going to be able to do when you play cards that have a panda symbol on it. So if it's on the Hungry Panda side, you're going to be able to take 1 point from the player who played into the trick before you. Not necessarily the person that's sitting next to you, because they may have passed. The last person to play into the trick before you, you'll be able to steal 1 point from them. Basically, it's just taking this bamboo from them and putting it in front of you. But if it's on the Panda Spin side, then you'll be able to take another card in your hand and spin it to its blue side so that you'll have a more powerful card to play with you. But we'll just give this a flip to see which one happens. And it is the Panda Spin side, so that's what's going to happen whenever somebody plays a panda card. Now, with that having been said, there are certain cards in the deck that have these different symbols on them. And let me just move it up here so you can better see it. If it has the panda symbol, we already talked about that. If it has a water symbol on it, basically that water symbol is going to count for a value that you need to play in that combination, whatever you've played down, in that set of cards. This one, the bamboo, means that whenever you play that card, you're going to be able to basically just take 1 point from the supply and add it to your total. The fire symbol down here basically means that once you play a card that has a fire symbol on it, you'll be able to discard one of the cards from your hand into the discard pile. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Panda Spin is a ladder climbing trick taking game, which basically means that whoever is leading the trick is going to choose a combination of cards out of their hand. It could just be a single one, but a combination of cards out of their hand, and that's what they're going to lead with that trick. The next person has the option to either pass or play a higher combination of cards than the previous person did. And then the next person has the ability to either pass or play a higher combination still. And that continues until all but one player has passed for that trick. And whoever has played the highest combination of cards is going to be the winner of that trick. And they will be able to discard all of their cards. Everybody else will have to take their cards back into their hand, but there is the added benefit that when you lose a trick by playing white cards, you're able to take those cards back up into your hand, but spin them to their more powerful blue sides. When you play at least one blue card in your combination, whether it wins or not, you're going to get rid of all of those cards. And the point of the game is to run out of cards first so that you can score the most points. The game will end when one person has 15 or more points at the end of the game, and then whoever has the most points is going to be the winner. Now, the kind of combinations that you can play are basically set apart in the player aids, and there are 5 player aids in the game. I'm just showing 4 of them so that you can see what's on both sides of them. The different combinations you can play, as I said earlier, is all the way from a single card, and that way you just, for example, you can play this 1-6, and that means somebody else has to play a higher number than the 6 or a higher value than the 6. The second thing is you could play a set, and the sets are basically pairs, triplets, of any value. So basically, you could play these 2 4s as a set. Then I would have to answer with these 2 7s or these 2 10s or something to that effect. You could also play runs, which are, for example, sequential numbers, 4, 5, and 6. Queen, king, ace, something to that effect. You could also play formations. Now, formations are a little bit different. For example, they could play this formation. They could play a 4, 5, 6 and a queen, king, ace. They could do that. I would have to answer with some other kind of formation that is higher than that formation that they played. So those are the 4 basic combinations that you could play out of your hand. There is a 5th combination, and that is a bomb. And that is the bomb is a 4 of a kind or more than 4 of a kind, depending on what you want to do. A bomb will immediately win a trick unless it is beaten by a higher bomb, which is 4 or more of a higher value than what was originally played. Another thing that you can play on your turn, and we've already referenced this, is an element as long as the requirements for that element to be played are met. Elements will beat all combinations except bombs. So if somebody plays an element card, you could play a bomb card and defeat the element. But just realize that a bomb and an element are 2 of the most powerful things that you can play out of your hand. And finally, the last real consideration here is that the Chinese 2s here are the highest single card that are in the deck, but they cannot be part of runs. So you wouldn't be able to play this Queen, King, Ace 2 like that. These are not able to be part of those runs. They can be paired up and played 2 2s at a time and that type of thing, but just not part of runs. So just for a single trick, we're going to go ahead and just play that this person is the one who was going to start, and they're going to start by playing these 2 4s. And so now I come over here and I have to beat that. If I want to stay in, I can pass if I wish, but I think I'm going to go ahead and play these 2 7s in order to beat those 2 4s. Then over here, I have to beat with something higher than 2 7s. And if I wanted to, I could go ahead and just go right into this and say, I'm going to play these 2 Chinese 2s. This person says, okay, well, what does the wood element do? The wood element says, win a trick with no bomb, so there is no bomb out here, in it if it contains a Chinese 2 or an ace. All right, so this does contain at least one Chinese 2, even though it doesn't contain an ace. So they're going to go ahead and play that and say, I'm not going to pass. I'm going to play this element, and that's going to win the trick for me unless somebody else plays a bomb. What happens here is this person has to draw 2 cards to put into their hand, like so. And then this goes away. I'll put that down there. Now, everybody else that didn't win has to take their cards back, but they're able to spin their cards up. So now they have some more powerful cards in their hand for later on. And now the person who won the trick is going to be able to lead. So now this person might say something to the effect of, I think what I'll do is I'll play this 10 Jack Queen like this. And since he played a card that has a panda card on it, he can take one of the cards that are in his deck and turn it to its more powerful size. So let's say he'll take that 4 and he'll switch it to the Chinese 2 with the bamboo on it, just like that. Now this person has to play something that's higher than a 10 Jack Queen, and he does have a Queen King Ace, so he's going to go ahead and play that over here. This person does have a bomb, so we're going to go ahead and do that. They're going to play the 2-10 card there and the 2 other cards that have 10 on it, and that's going to constitute a bomb because it has 4, at least 4 of the same value. This person over here does have a bomb, 2 9s here and then 2 9s over here, but that's not higher than the 10, so that's not going to happen. And that's going to be it because this element over here can't beat a bomb, so that's going to be all that they play. This person wins the trick, so this person will take these cards back and flip them up to its more powerful side. Same thing with these over here. And now this person is able to discard all of these cards, and now they're going to lead the trick. And that's how the round will continue to play until one person at the end of a trick doesn't have any other cards in their hand. That means they have shown out. And at that point, they are going to be able to take a number of points equal to the person who has the most number of cards in their hand to a maximum of 7 points. Play continues to go, and then when the next person shows out, they are able to take a number of points equal to the person who has the most cards in their hand. Again, maximum of 7. And that continues to go until there are only one person left. At that point, you look to see if anybody has 15 or more points. If that is the case, the game is over, and whoever has the most points is the winner. If that's not the case, you go ahead and take all of the cards back up and play another round. So that's about that for Panda Spin. It really is a interesting card shedding, ladder climbing, trick taking game that is fun to play. And it's not necessarily the card shedding or the ladder climbing or really even the trick taking. For me, that's fun. It's all of the other things that you can do as you're playing those cards with all of the different powers that are available to you through those different symbols that find themselves on the cards. I think that it is going to take a few games for you to get some of those more interesting strategies and get kind of savvy on those, because some of them are slightly unintuitive, because you may play some cards out there knowing that or rather hoping that you're not going to win, so that you can spend them and have those more powerful combinations back later on to be played with something else that you didn't play. So it's those kinds of thought processes that are going to be interesting and engaging from the very beginning, but I think it will take some time and multiple plays to really get savvy on what's the best thing to do in any of those given situations. So let's get to my pros and cons. My first pro of this game is the look. First of all, the artwork is amazing, and all of the different kinds of graphic elements that are on the cards. First of all, the back of the cards are really nice. My goodness. I love how shiny parts of the cards are, and I like the dual nature of the two cards, knowing that you can look at somebody's hand and you can see how many blue cards they have in their hand. You can see that, and you can kind of gauge how powerful their cards might be. So there is that. From a very just purely aesthetic point of view, these cards are very nice. Not just the back sides with all of the shiny, glittery stuff, but on the other sides, the artwork is very well done, and it's such that all of the symbology is there. I like the fact that it is also colorblind friendly, because while each element has a color, it also has a symbol associated with it, and that symbol is what denotes at the top of the cards here what set, or what suit rather, that card belongs to. You don't have to be able to see the colors. I really did like the artwork. I really did like the graphic design of the cards. I thought it was a very aesthetic choice and very well done. Secondarily, the component quality were good. The cards are all a good card stock. All of the different point tokens are actually, I don't know if they're actual bamboo. They may be, but I'm not absolutely sure. I didn't put them under a microscope or anything like that to actually find that out. But I do like the pieces. There is a little bit of a difference here. You can either say that this is a 2, or you can say that this is a 5. That's one of the funny things about it. When people were teaching this to me, they were saying this is 2 points, this is 2 points, this is 2 points. And I was looking at the rule book and I was like, no, those are 5 points. And they were like, wow, those are 5-point tokens. I never knew that. And that's kind of thing. So it's just be careful. Just realize that they're 5 points. But these little tokens are neat depictions, are nice components for tracking your points. I like that in the game. I did enjoy it. The card stock is all well and good. We've already talked about the graphic design. The box is not oversized. I'm going to throw that into the components aspect of my pros and cons, because you'll often find that sometimes games just have boxes that are just too big for their components. They didn't need to be that big, but the publisher wanted them to be bigger so that it took up more shelf space on the whatever. I generally don't like it when publishers do that, but I understand why they do it. Anyway, this box doesn't really suffer from that, so that's part of the good component quality aspect. My third pro of the game is going to be the different abilities that you're able to take advantage of during the course of each trick and or hand. I liked what they all did in their different shapes and forms. For example, the panda spirit or whatever, if he's hungry, you get to, it makes for a little bit of a different feel of a game, because you're going to be stealing points from people who played before you into that trick. So that has a completely different feel to it. Whereas if you do the panda spin side, and again, you can choose which side of this you want at the beginning of the game, or as we did during the explanation, you can just kind of flip it and randomly choose whatever it's going to be. But the panda spin has a little bit of a different slant on it, how it feels when you're playing the game, because it's much more internal and it's less take that whenever you're playing those panda symbols. So I like the duality of this token and how it can slightly change how the game plays. In addition to that, I like all of the other special abilities that you can do, with the water being a wild value within the combination that you've just played, whatever you need it to be or want it to be. The bamboo is another way for you to get points during the course of the game. If it's taking longer for you to shed the cards out of your hand and you're not really showing out a lot, you can be playing a lot of bamboo cards that are going to get you points during the course of the game. With a low point value for ending the game, it makes those cards pretty powerful, so I like that. And then in a card shedding game, having a special ability on some of the cards that allow you to just discard cards out of your hand, that's really cool, because it allows you to get rid of those cards that are going to be difficult to play later on in the hand. I really enjoyed all of these special abilities, and I think it's just a neat package. My fourth pro is the fact that it is a ladder climbing trick-taking game. I really enjoy ladder climbing as a mechanism within the game. I love it when you have to not just play part of the trick, but you have to beat the person that started the trick or that played before you in order to be able to play. Now, it can be kind of frustrating when it seems like everybody has higher cards than you, and it's hard for you to get that that set or that run or whatever, that formation, whatever it is, out of your hand, because everybody just kind of just inches above it before it comes to you. That can be frustrating, but I really do enjoy the tension that it brings with it, because you can play a low set so that you can hope that people also play low. Then you can play another set out of your hand. And along with that, the ability to play formations. So basically two different groups of runs, or two different groups of sets, or something to that effect. That's another echelon of interest. These are things that I think is very fun. It's a fun mechanism. It just made the game very enjoyable for me. Finally, I only have one con, and it's actually one of my pros, but I found that teaching ladder climbing is somewhat difficult, and it's hard if you're not used to, or if you haven't played a ladder climbing game before. It's hard for you to grasp that. I found that out. And it was difficult for me, at least, to teach it. And it's not that I necessarily did a poor job of teaching it, but the people I was teaching it to were having a hard time grasping that construct of, this person is going to lead this much, so I have to beat that by at least one value in order to beat them and continue to go higher, climb the ladder higher. I found that it was interesting. So that's going to be my con. I really enjoy it, but it's hard for people who aren't savvy on trick taking. First of all, to grab onto, because you have to teach them what trick taking is first, and then on top of that, you have to teach them, okay, well then now there's this extra little thing that you have to understand that this game takes part in. So there's that just learning curve that's there for this game that. I don't know if it's necessarily a con, but I just wanted to mention it because maybe it's more of a warning than it is a con, but I'm putting it here because the letters are red and all of that kind of stuff, so it's a warning. All in all, though, I'm going to give Panda Spin a very high rating at 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed this game. It is a spectacularly fun card shedding, ladder climbing, trick-taking game, and it's fast. It plays well. It plays fast. It is a little bit harder to teach than maybe your regular trick-taking game is, but I think it's worth the extra effort at the end of the day. So take that for what it's worth. I really did enjoy this. I went and backed their second Kickstarter because I missed the first one. This one is actually a copy that was picked up by a friend of mine at UKGE this year. So it's one of those things where I'm going to be giving this one away when my Kickstarter copy comes in that has the expansion in it as well. I really enjoyed this one. 8 out of 10. I think if you haven't played this, make an effort to go play it, and I think you'll enjoy it. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side. Take care.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you like this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games, we do top 10s, we play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.